Good morning from Toronto, Canada. World Tourism Forum Institute's prime agenda is reshaping economies through tourism with a specific focus on the developing world. We pay special attention to the African countries and try to work with governments who believe in making tourism the cornerstone of their economic strategy in order to alleviate poverty by creating tourism jobs and sustainable income for the locals. For this purpose today, we will be talking about the world's sixth least visited country. So most of the time we talk about the most visited countries, but today we are going to be talking to the sixth least visited country. This is the land of primates with painted faces, soft clouds of butterflies, insects so colorful they belong to a film of fiction. Yet Equatorial Guinea has something of a reputation with a history of failed coup, allegations of corruptions, but there is plenty to bring you to this country as it tries to reinvent itself. Beautiful black and white shores, its flora and fauna. Since the mid-1990s, Equatorial Guinea has become one of sub-Saharan Africa's largest oil producers. A population of less than 1 million, and a lucrative oil and gas fields mean annual per capita GDP stands at around $22,000, roughly in the same as Portugal at 1.3 million in 2018, and a young population with an average age of 20 plus. Thanks to the vision of its long-serving president, His Excellency Teodoro Obiang, Gema Basogo, birds watching, adventure travel, beach islands, flora fauna, dense forests, and natural conference centers, airlines, tourist visas represent a new era in true African hospitality in tourism. Talking to us about this today, I have Catalina Martinez Asumu, Secretary of State in charge of tourism in the Ministry of Culture, Equatorial Guinea. Welcome. Welcome, madam.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being on our platform. So let's get started. Normally at this point, I am talking about the recovery of coronavirus, but in your country, it's been almost non-existent. What's the outlook for tourism and hospitality moving forward? How is your country responding to the current situation? Talk to us about it.
So thank you once again, Sumaira, for your perfect introduction about Equatorial Guinea. So it's in a small country in the west, in the Central Africa, but small in size, but very big in visions and ambitions. As you mentioned before, thanks to the oil, we got the opportunity to develop the country and infrastructures, to diversify the economy, where we identify the tourism, agriculture, and fishing for the future's economy. And of course, our country, it's 70% of our country is water, and the 30% is jungle. So it's an opportunity, a unique opportunity to discover the Equatorial Guinea you wish you knew. Because of course, we have heard a lot, and is known in the oil sector, development sectors, and economical sectors. But when we talk about tourism in the international map, we still, it's a destination in making. So with all this medical emergency situation, where the tourism has been really affected, in our case, it's really special because our figures, our income in tourism was not enough representative. So that's why with our tourism development plan and the strategic plan, so in the last years, we was working at the regulation, the accessibility, And so now, 2020 into 22, we are in our marketing strategy. So positioning and open Equatorial Guinea to the world.
Okay. And did you have
So with all this,
did you have any impact or anything of the virus? What were your numbers like?
of course, we have an impact because it's a worldwide situation,
Sure.
and our numbers, they still low.
Yeah.
So we just start in the first step after the lockdown. So we are little by little recovering, and all the economy activity, and but of course with very carefully and respecting all the protocols and all the international recommendations for the OMS and the UNWTO in terms of tourism. So, and our government, we have been working in all this period as all other countries and institutions and states to preserve the health of our nation in all our interaction, respecting all the protocols. So, but in Africa, our numbers still very low here, and so we are ready to recover little by little, going a long way to the new normal life, to the new tourism.
Okay.
So we are still sending the messages and to be conscious about this medical situation, this emergency, in terms that is all of us, we need to be involved, we need to be safe, we need to preserve the health care of our nation in all interactions. So with all the steps that we have, we are continuous messaging and doing follow-up, and for the schools or restaurants in all the industries to preserve, to carefully to take care of our life, to take care the life of our nation. So we are in that way to recover little by little. The good thing is our infected cases, they are not so high, and for the moment we have everything under control, and we start to with a. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, because I can see you.
Okay, I can see you. You're fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I can hear you clearly. Just keep talking, okay?
Okay, great. So in terms of tourism, right now Equatorial Guinea, with all the development and even the country, our government has been investing in a lot of infrastructures.
Okay.
So even if it's still really unknown as a tourism destination, once you arrive in Equatorial Guinea, you will be surprised. Normally, it's the wow effect.
Thank you.
Because it's the unknown, the unexpected.
Okay. So So tell me something which brings me to this. This is Africa's only Spanish-speaking country, and also part of the Portuguese-speaking community. It also stands out in other ways. It's an island. Was at one time an intense slaving and trade hub where European powers and people from Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and Liberia all left their marks. In Corisco Island, for example, there are Spanish missionary ruins, French architectures, bottles of German gin from 1800s untouched on the island. Share with us some insights of your unique history and culture.
So Equatorial Guinea was a Spanish colony.
Yeah.
And our official language is Spanish. And is the single country in Africa where we speak Spanish.
Very unique indeed.
And of course, with all these all this influence. And because it's a Gulf, our country is located in the Gulf of Equatorial Guinea. So it was a strategical port at the time for all the slaves routes, and even for all an important port in Central Africa. So the Italians, they was here, and the Portuguese, Nigerian, and so we have a lot of influence. But at the end of the day, so it was a Spanish colony. We speak Spanish and as a first language, and we speak as well English and French, because we are surrounded for the French countries. We are part from the CEMAC area, where they are speaking French. So everybody speaks French in Equatorial Guinea. Everybody as an international language. We speak Spanish. We can welcome everyone in Spanish and English and French, and of course our fourth language, because we are as well members of the CPL organization, where all the countries, they speak Portuguese, and Equatorial Guinea is part of that organization. So that opened a lot of opportunities. And it's a unique opportunity to discover Equatorial Guinea, because in all those cultures, with all this diversification, it's not only on the language, it's as well in the gastronomy and the cultural way, and all the diversification we have in the country, with the particularity that the mainland is the capital of the country. Right. So, sorry, the capital is based on an island, and then the second town, the most important town in Equatorial Guinea is in the mainland. So we are surrounded water and jungle with all the wildlife, animals, bird watchers. So that means in all this difficult time that we are seeking around the world, I'm sure we need new destinations, unknown destinations, where they was not devastated by the medical emergency situation, where we are working to preserve the health life of the nation and the health life of the future guests, of the future tourists.
Thank you. That's
in Equatorial Guinea. You have history, we have, it's a perfect spot for golf, for MICE meeting, incentive, congressman events.
I will come to you on that. So in most countries, you'd have crowds of organized tour groups exploiting it.
No.
It's just the locals. Tourist dollars also provide a mean for many impoverished locals to benefit directly. There's always an emphasis on a certain type of tourism in Africa, either high-end safaris or backpackers going to Africa to slum it. Meanwhile, countries such as Equatorial Guinea remain well off the tourist trail. People don't go because no one knows it's there, which is, in a way, it's a blessing. If people knew about it, they do. So what efforts are being made to market the destination to the world? It's still the best kept secret in tourism, but you still need people to know about it. It's a difficult balance.
In the last 2 years, the government of Equatorial Guinea, through the Ministry of Culture, Tourism, and Artisanal Promotion, we have been driving forces together. First, the regulation the industry in terms of low labor permits, in terms of the private sector, to standardize all international standards, and then to support the private sector. And the segmentation as well has been done. And even in terms of training people to get certifications through international standards. As well, we provide all the infrastructure. So that means international airports, international hotels, activities. That means parks, national parks. Naturally, we have more than 12 natural parks and natural reserves.
Wow. Wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
So that's why we are saying is a perfect friendliness, sustainable ecotourism destination. So we can interact with beach watchers, we can do diving, we can do fishing, we can play golf, and it's a perfect as well with all the investment that the government has been done. We need to, the World International Tourism Map needs to know about Equatorial Guinea, and considering this small country with big visions for the next investments, for the next meetings, for the future tourism events, and tourism tourists with packages for, not for 5-star hotels. We have it. We have 3-star hotel, 4-star hotel, and 5-star hotel at upper class. And what we want to offer, we offer the international tourism world the 1,000 stars. 1,000 stars in the sky to discover the ecotourism. With the ecotourism, you go deep in the jungle, and there is no 3 stars there. There is no 5 stars there. And when you go deep in the jungle to interact with the wild animals, with the forest, it's easier to preserve the distance, to respect all the sanitary measurements, and of course, not in 5-star hotels, in 1,000 stars from the sky. So it's a unique experience. Beautiful. And this is what we want the world know about the Equatorial Guinea. You wish you know. It's important, of course, to do the right marketing, the positioning, the branding. We are right now working. This is what we need, because we have done internally all the necessary to attract investment with an innovative regulation and then benefits and taxes to attract investment. We have been working the accessibility of the country. We approved, the government of Equatorial Guinea approved last year the touristic visa. So of course, to have the better implementation, we are working for the e-visa.
Yeah. So that was my next question, actually, that, I know that lots of new efforts have been made to increase capacity, starting with I think Turkish Airlines just started flying in February. And you also tell us about the e-visas as well, and about the capacity of the airlines coming in and all of that.
Yes, so to the accessibility to Equatorial Guinea is still very easy, very accessible with Turkish Airlines, with Air France, with Lufthansa, and Air Maroc, and our national airline company, Ceiba, who is traveling to Spain with direct flights to Spain, and then even in the region, in the Africa region. So we are connected internationally with Ethiopian Airlines, with Air France, Lufthansa, Turkish Airlines, and Air Maroc.
Okay, that's quite. And Ethiopian Airlines is a big airline, so you've got lots of connections from there as well. And the Turkish Airline, another huge connector, so that's fantastic. Yeah,
they start the operations. They start the operations last year, and that connects Equatorial Guinea with all the world. Yeah. So that allow us to develop our strategy without barriers, because we are accessible now to the entire world. Mm-hmm. So that's why we did the Air Force. We understood the need to open the destination. We understood that we need to diversify the economy. We understood that the tourism is a big industry. to create employees, to diversify the economy, to do the branding, to send the right message to the world about Equatorial Guinea. So after a year and a half, so we approve the touristic visa, and with the online e-visa implementation. So not only get the visa through the embassies or the consulates that we have around the world. So the tourism industry is not only for tourists, it's only as well for investors.
Yeah, and
for investors to have accessibility to needs to be an easy action, an easy step, right, to get the visa to Equatorial Guinea. So we take the commitment, and the government of Equatorial Guinea through the Ministry of Culture, Tourism, and Artisanal Promotion. So we are implementing all the tools to make things happen and to go straight to open the destination.
Yeah, and I think that's a very, very important critical step is the e-visa, because if you can't get your visas in African countries, that's what people find difficult sometimes to apply. You know, going to the consulates or embassies in today's world doesn't work. So having an online visa facility is given. It's a must. You know, we are already talking about a world without visas, you know, after the corona as part of the recovery. That's maybe some of the countries can open their borders and, you know, and allow that to happen. So just moving forward very quickly, you have vast unspoiled landscapes and seascapes, a developed basic infrastructure, and an attractive climate. Equatorial Guinea could become one of the premier ecotourism destinations in Africa. In recent years, work has been focused on the development of tourist infrastructure and the elimination of obstacles to the development of the sector has been prioritized, including administrative procedures. Petrodollars have funded impressive construction projects, including the mini Dubai near the president's birthplace. Alongside a new cathedral, plans are also happening for an opera house and perhaps another presidential palace. Some describe Equatorial Guinea's infrastructure as fantastic, as one of the best in Africa. Inviting tourism investments and ease of doing business for foreign companies, how does the government see this importance?
Sorry?
So inviting new investments into the country, how does the government view that? Is that important?
It's another must. Of course, to develop, we need to know that the Eastern small country with 1.2 million population. So it's very tiny.
Right, 1.2 million, okay.
That is 1.2 million, but of course, our country is peaceful.
Right.
It's a very safe country. It's peaceful, and we don't have records of terrorism and those negative actions they are not inviting investors to come to those destinations. So that means once it's a peaceful country with all these infrastructures, with all this nature, wildlife, forest, we work under regulation for attract investors.
Okay.
We implement a very innovative regulations for attract investors in terms of taxes, in terms of
some tax relief, and
we are open to discuss. We are open to negotiate. We are open to receive support, to receive investors, and the investor, they can add value in the industry, and they can position him and they can get the rentabilization of their investments. Because with a peaceful country, with regulations, innovative regulation in place,
to
and
those
with a huge potential.
Today, I was just before my meeting with you, I had a similar kind of a forum happening with another major hotel developer. And so to those investors who are listening to you right now, so you're saying we are open for business. If you're looking for a unique place, Equatorial Guinea is the one. And the government will do everything to make it easy with incentives, with waivers, with permits and all of that.
And exactly.
Okay, that's good to know. That's thank you for that message. Furthermore, the opportunities offered.
And as well, Sumaira.
Yeah.
And as well, Sumaira, the government is to support. So we are giving the initiative and to the private sector.
Okay.
The government of Equatorial Guinea is there to support, is there to push, and to facilitate all the tourism industry. But we are there to support our private sector. It needs to lead the tourism of Equatorial Guinea. Of course, it's a public and a private
partnership.
Public and a private team, speaking the same language, with the same vision, with the same ambitions to make real the tourism destination of Equatorial Guinea.
That's a very good, strong message you are sending to the world. So to our viewers who are listening today, this is a very important, significant message, that yes, you are the least visited country, but you really have your act together of the kind of investments you want to invite and how you want to go about it. Okay. So furthermore, the opportunities offered by ecotourism as a main destination for tropical tourism development. Equatorial Guinea also have possibilities to develop high value tourism. And what about immersive tourism? So I'll give you an example in immersive tourism in Seychelles, for example, okay? You have 50% hotel rooms for guests, but the rest of the 50% of the rooms are normally with locals in their homes, where you have projects and plans where the locals are encouraged and they receive subsidies from the government to house people in their homes. So they get the income from it directly, from the tourism that is coming in. So because there are also you have incredibly isolated beaches where you feel like Indiana Jones. It's a paradise if you are into animals, okay? For Western lowland gorillas, forest elephants, and a sea wildlife unique to the area. How is your organization supporting the environment projects like this, and also the possibility of some of this immersive tourism, new ideas?
Yes, in terms of our strategy, we are focused on quality, not quantity.
Okay.
Sustainable tourism, readiness, ecotourism. What that means, we have a lot of forest, but the 30%, the 70% is ocean, is sea. So what we are focused is to do the green investment to the forest with the ecotourism, and to create employers in the forest and the in the local for the local tourist.
Okay.
We right now with the ecotourism, we will preserve the ecosystem. So we are focused. Our aim, our interest is to create green investment.
Okay.
And green employees. So that means to use our own materials. We have plenty of wood.
Okay.
And many people, they're working in the forest. So if we invest in the green areas for ecotourism, yeah, the benefits will go for all the local people.
So money
Social tourism,
in the local economy.
inclusive, yes.
Okay, okay, that's um, so. Tell me, Catalina, for any tourism destination to take off, it is very important not only to invest in the infrastructure, but also to build up the human capital. You talked about training earlier on, and investing in training, development, education of the locals on the benefit of tourism. Also to educate the locals, right? That what tourism can bring to them. Also, it's about building capacity for all the periphery support industries to support the tourism activity. So tourism industry is one, but you need a lot of other industries around it to support it. What are your plans to invest in this type of human resource to welcome foreign visitors, that they're mentally prepared, and also help small businesses to support the overall industry?
Yes, so 2 years ago, we start with signing agreements with international organizations, because of course we have universities and we have professional schools in Equatorial Guinea, where the people, they get the certification that once we want to open the country to the world, we need to make sure that the capability, the capacity, and the training and the standards, the standards from the industry, they are guaranteed. So that's why the last 2 years we addressed international organizations. We use the cooperation agreements that we have with other countries in terms of external cooperation, and they start even institute with international certifications to train with the programs training for our human resources, and even exchange of experience. So our team members, it's a young country, so always tourism is always very attractive for young people and for women's. Right. So, and then we sign those agreements.
Is one of the biggest employers of women in all around the world.
Of women. Yeah. All around the world. And so of course it's the same in Equatorial Guinea. So that's why the government is putting all the efforts, apart of the trainings of education they got in the universities and the professional schools and the professional hoteliers schools, that local in Equatorial Guinea, once we want to open the tourism, the country, and we are welcome to receive international tourists, we need to make sure that they have the right standards, the right tourism culture, the culture of service, the culture of tourism, anticipation, and all those standards. So in those terms, we're still working, and the international hotel chains, they're based in Equatorial Guinea, so they have it already. So they're as well sharing best practices with local hotels, local entrepreneurs, and so driving forces together.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. That you've explained it very, very well, and very ambitious as well. So there's an incredible sort of mini Dubai that has been built in the middle of the jungle. The Sipopo Resort, with its 5-star hotel and exclusive facilities, it rises from a tropical beach. The purpose-built town was carved out of an ancient forest in 2011 at a cost of 600 million euros. Initially, it was created to host the week-long African Union Summit and showcase the rise of the oil-rich state. Okay. A 20-minute drive from Equatorial Guinea's capital, Malabo, the resort boasts a vast conference center, the Sofitel Malibu Sipopo League Golf Hotel, as well as 52 luxury villas, one for every head of the state to attend the summit, each with its own swimming pool. There's also an 18-hole golf course, several restaurants, and exclusive beaches guarded by the police. This venue itself is one of the best in Africa and ideal to target MICE business. Is that something you are focusing upon?
The MICE business is important segmentation through the investment that the government has been done in the ballrooms, but not only in the capital and the main cities. So around the country, we can offer different spots, different facilities for MICers, and combine work, business, and leisure. Playing golf, playing tennis with a spa, wildlife, ecotourism, business,
everything
with a high level standards.
Yeah. So you've got it all there, right? All the ingredients. So you've got, for MICE, what is important is infrastructure, world-class infrastructure. You have it. You have capacity airline lift. You have ease of visas. You have also the security and safety. So
And safety.
Yeah, very, very important is the security and safety aspect. So you seem to have all of the ingredients there.
So, Sumaira, we're still the least visited country in the world because we was working very hard to put in place all those infrastructures. So, and was in our strategy plan of development of Equatorial Guinea, we went through step by step. So, it's the time to start with tourism is now for Equatorial Guinea.
Yeah.
This is the opportunity right now, even with all this pandemic and all this medical emergency situation, our numbers, our figures in tourism, they have not represented a lot in the last years.
Right.
Thanks to the oil, we built our vision and our strategy plan was to provide all the resources to the country.
I think
to be able in 21, 22 to welcome the tourist. Regulation, infrastructures, facilities, safety. We identify our roadmap and we are following that strategy. So that means it was a plan. It's a plan. It's a political plan. It's a strategy plan. So we are in the right time. Yeah. Now we need to preserve all the measurements for the healthcare and to adapt that strategy plan with the new tourism, with the new habits. So now we are ready to do the marketing, the positioning, to send the right message, to advertising. Beautiful. So
thank you.
Our strategy plan did not change.
Okay, that's great.
Of course, all the international events has been canceled, and Equatorial Guinea confirmed the participation in all those international events because it was part of all the tourist marketing strategy. But once they're canceled, so we are working internally to create the internal tourism.
Yeah. The local.
And of course, local tourism and even the region, because we are close to Cameroon, or we are just 1 hour flight from to Benin, to Togo, Ivory Coast, and even to Gabon.
Right.
And we have 5 islands, international airports, a very peaceful country. So we need to say the word.
Yeah.
Welcome to Equatorial Guinea. Come and discover and experience. And of course, we are willing to organize conference, fun trips, educationals.
Actually,
Equatorial Guinea is there.
Thank you. Your enthusiasm is infectious. So in closing, what we have learned today about this tiny gem of a country. The country may have an image in what you see in the news, but the reality of the country on the ground is quite different. Like any country, it may have its issues, but it also has its virtues. It's a very safe, organized country, clean and hospitable, and it's ready for business. It's ready to welcome tourism, the new tourists in the new normal. It is ready, and it has the infrastructure, it has the capability, but above all, it has a big heart, this country. And I feel that until we meet again in your paradise, I thank you, Secretary, today for your valuable time.
Thank you. It's Equatorial Guinea through the Minister of Culture, Tourism and International Promotion, saying thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
To this opportunity and to spread how and right message internationally, the right message about Equatorial Guinea. Once again, thank you so much. And you will be, all of you, you are invited and welcome to discover the Equatorial Guinea you wish you knew. Thank you so much.
I'm coming soon. Thank you.
Anytime. Anytime.